everybody. Welcome to the Fire It Up with CJ show. We have Dr. Christine Page, and we are talking about her book, The Heart of the Great Mother, Spiritual Initiation, Creativity, and Rebirth. And we are in the place of spiritual initiation. Is that where we are right now? And
Right.
which brings with it great opportunity, and we were talking in the previous part one about how this is part of a cycle. And in that section, you were talking about how hard it is because we're clinging to the past. And so, before talking about the opportunity, which I did promise before, and we will talk about maybe in part three, we're going to be talking about that process of being in the cocoon and and the challenges that has, and how we can kind of get back, how we can actually rest into that place versus fighting against it. So, what are some of your thoughts about that?
So you very kindly talked about the in-breath and the out-breath.
Hmm.
In our world, especially in a Western world, we talk about everything linear, so we go caterpillar, cocoon, butterfly.
Yeah.
If we kind of saw ourselves much more in the center,
Hmm.
so that we have a circular time.
Hmm.
So in many cultures, they think we're very strange to have a past and a future because they work in circular time. So we start from our center, and every life or every experience is just a petal in the flower. And that's how I
Hmm.
use illness as well, that our journey of illness to health is to experience our wholeness, to open up all the petals. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So if I could just put this metaphor I'd start with, is that we begin in the middle and we send a piece of us out into the world to have an experience so we know ourselves. That's how we see or I see creation.
Hmm.
I'm here and I go, okay, I don't know who you are, so let me create this. Now I see who you are. And then I bring that seed of wisdom back that you described.
Hmm.
All right. So we create in order to know ourselves.
Hmm.
And I know this is big, I understand, but it's like the world out there is a hologram. It's literally whatever you see is what you've created in order to know yourself.
Hmm.
And I use that analogy that if we all went to the same movie, we'd all come out and say, wow, did you enjoy that? Oh, I really like that character. And we'd go, what character?
Right.
Because only see what resonates. And I've done this in groups, thousands or hundreds of
Yeah.
people, and we've all gone down the same damn street and seen very different things or related to the same sign, but it's all meant something different. So
Right.
we don't see the same thing. That's all I'm wanting to say. We can only see that which resonates with us. And when it resonates with us, we become it.
Hmm.
What's happened is we've gone out, we've created all these things, whether it's 26,000 years of life, probably is. But there were things we went, oh, look at me, I'm wonderful. And we brought that back to us. And then there were things we went, I don't like that. I didn't do that. Or that was too painful. And we've abandoned them.
Hmm.
And so we are collecting into ourselves. I first called the book The Remembering the Return of the Great Mother,
Hmm.
because we are remembering. We are bringing back into our
Hmm.
heart everything that we created.
Hmm.
So what we have a tendency to do is to actually go to war against everything we created. We go to
Hmm.
war against our projections, or we fight against them. And if I can put nothing else across, stop doing that.
Hmm.
Everything you have an emotional reaction to is another part of you awaiting integration.
Mm, okay, got it. So you were talking about planting a seed, the analogy, and then you described the wonderful analogy of the center of a flower and a petal that goes around, gets an experience, and then comes back. So this could be like CJ goes to college, like learns about herself independently, comes back. CJ gets a
Brings wisdom.
job.
Wow, look at CJ. But you're doing it and saying, look how clever CJ is. So
Right.
you're not picking up the what, you're picking up the what essence of me did grew in that moment.
Right. And then, like, I'm a mother, come back. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, missing from that whole thing is maybe the root, right? We're like, so it,
So it's not even at that, because again, you say I did the mother, but
mhm,
every mother is different. So what did you particularly give to mothering? What
Ah,
did you
okay.
about yourself as a mother? Did you bring that back? Now, when someone says, so I'll say, let's just take a relationship.
Hmm.
You know, you have a good relationship, you go, oh, that's lovely. But there's another one, you go, wow, that was really hurtful. And you push it away and abandon that part. And literally, we have abandoned parts of ourselves from childhood onwards. We go back to maybe being a little girl who was all kind of maybe very, very confident. And someone says, stop doing that. And you went, oh, I can't do that anymore. So you abandon your lovely little girl who was all very cocky,
Hmm. Hmm. So there,
and
so yeah, so like
get
for yeah.
back to what was acceptable. Okay, oh,
Mm,
I'm not loved if I do that. So
mm,
you go away, and so we are now picking up those bits of ourselves, the wild woman, or the show off child, or the one that was so overwhelmingly sad. I can't deal with you. You're too sad.
okay, got it. So this is and as I understand it from shamanic work that I've studied a little bit, they talk about a traumatic event. So you talked about a little girl who's like, "Don't do that. That's not okay to do." Right. So
Yes,
that may have created like a fragmentation of her
that's
soul.
it.
And
That's
then,
it.
so when she fragmented her soul, it's like you can't dance around like that cocky little girl. She's like, "Oh, I can't do that." And then
Yeah.
that part of her just like ran away, or was a
It,
fragmented away.
exactly. But we end up being the critic. So 20 years on, 30 years on, we're saying, oh, in fact, I don't like anybody who's a show off.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa. So what we judge in other people is what we have a fear of integrating into.
Ah, okay. So you talk about in the book that this is a period where we have this dualities, these aspects of ourselves that don't make us whole, not unified. So that little girl who fractured off and said, I can't be a cocky little girl because that's bad. And now I'm
Yeah,
back to being like 50 and like going like that's bad whenever someone's a show off
exactly.
like that.
Mother to tell us that we're doing it to ourselves.
Right. So now it's about going and turning to that little girl and saying, "Oh, honey, it's okay. Come back to me."
And sometimes embodying her and say, okay, I'm going to go and learn dancing. I'm going to go and do something. So in some ways, it's not enough just to say, oh, okay, come on in. She won't come back to you if you don't do her.
Right.
You
Yeah. Right. No,
know,
I had,
I only trust you if you actually really do it.
right. If I do the work to
Yeah.
welcome her back into the center, she'll come back. But if not, it's like, why would I come back? You're not going to like recognize me or cherish me or love me. So I'm going to just float out here at
Yeah.
age 5.
Yeah, and it's not doing the work, just it's like you prove that you don't mind showing off. So you sometimes we've got to go into that show off to say, okay, I'm doing it, okay?
Now it's like, all right, I'm coming back now.
Yeah, I'll come back because you're not judging. And that's what I feel. It's like whatever it is that we judge in others, have we the capacity to do? Now, this then people say, well, I have a hateful part of me or whatever. And it's like, own that hateful part. Now, I'm not going saying go out and hurt someone, but sometimes we have to say, yeah, I do this to myself and I do it to others.
Hmm.
That, of
Hmm.
course, I'm not saying act it out, but sometimes we have to say, I do have those thoughts that
Right.
aren't very,
Yeah, and to
you
find
know?
a reconciliation of that. So you wrote down in your book. So there's a phase of inspiration when seeds or new ideas are planted and nurtured. This is followed by full expression of manifestation of the potential of that seed into the world, similar to a flower in full bloom. The idea has taken form and become matter, and it's time to celebrate. The last phase sees dissolution of the form, when the wisdom or energy of the fruit is fed back into the original plant to make stronger, allowing the bloom to die. So this is the little girl. She goes off, and we dissolve that part of us that go, don't be a show off, CJ. Don't go dancing. And then I'm like, I'm dancing. I'm showing off. So that's how we dissolve, so that the energy of the fruit is fed back into the original plant, making it stronger. Ah,
That's
so this coronavirus, this is helping us do that.
yes, it is. It is because cutting us off from our distractions. I think we've been distracted from ourselves.
Ah.
So we're coming home. Everybody's being forced to be in home. And so it's making us really be honest with ourselves and sometimes honest with our partners because we're being forced with everybody. You know, everybody's at home with each other, but we're seeing ourselves and we're letting go of things that are distractions, and we're saying, what do I really value inside myself? You know, and I think that's bringing yourself back to your home. If you only have three things you like, you really say, this is what I really value about myself. That's that core that you're creating stronger.
Right.
And why I'm saying that is you will not go into the cocoon if there's nobody at home. So
Ah.
we have to bring things in and say, you know, this is me, this is who I am. And then you don't lose that in the cocoon, you take that into the cocoon. But that's the center from which the new flower will grow.
So like, the me that was running around, like, I talked to working moms who have kids and they're like have a job, and now they're a full-time teacher teaching their kids at home. They're working and they're just like basically losing their minds because they're doing all this stuff. And then they say, but it's really nice because I spent time with my kid, like more time in the last month than I've done over the last 5 years. And so there's this kind of maybe coming home to, yes, I'm working, but like, wait, what was I maybe missing? And how, wow, that's interesting. Like I miss spending time with my kid. Is that what you mean? Like the forcing at home is
It
forcing you to
is.
look at that.
Also, what matters to us, because I think that a lot of our, you know, I work a lot with women and I love working with women and working women, but often they've taken on almost a mini man role.
Mm-hmm.
They've actually forgotten what feeds them.
Mm,
And it's not just nurturing others, it's being nurtured. You
mm.
know, I'm hearing also that women are saying, wow, people are feeding me. Or what's missing in my life? You know, what
Yes,
is missing? I think that women need to be the queen bee. They don't
yes.
need to be the worker bee, and we've gone way out of balance.
Lovely. Okay, so in the next section, let's talk a little bit about, I don't know, where do you want to go? Where would you like to go? We
I
talked
think
about
it's
talking about the opportunity.
we'll just talk about the Virgin Mother Crone, the three faces of the goddess, because that can be a phase that we again can have. We can all have a bit of trouble at the moment. We're in the third phase of the crone, so let's go there.
Okay, got it. Okay, so we've been talking to Dr. Christine Page about her book, The Heart of the Great Mother, and how, in fact, we did talk about the opportunity. The opportunity is to come home, back to center, and not only take the experiences of all the wonderful experiences and all the accomplishments, but what else you're learning as you go through the experience of your life, and how do you reintegrate parts of yourself that you may have left behind during each of these petals in the journey back to center. In the next stage, we're going to be talking about the three phases of.
Three faces of the feminine.
Thank you so much. We've been talking to Dr. Christine Page.
It means so much to me that you're listening to the show. I would love your support in any way by giving me comments below or to subscribe to the show or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.